It's time for something WLS wants you to know.
Never bring a chicken into your kitchen. But hose it off outside.
That's today's Something WLS Wants You to Know, heard exclusively on Awake with Jake on WLS.
This show has kind of a food bent today. You can get chicken on a stick, but if you're going to make chicken on a stick, take your chicken outside and hose it down before you bring it into your kitchen. Yeah, you think that's funny. Not funny to the poor ladies who hurt when they pee. That's right. That is exactly right. That's what they were talking about. That's what Avila was talking about with Rowan Roper the other day. Antibiotics in chickens. They found Prozac in chickens. Why are chickens taking Prozac? What's wrong with their lives? Anyway, you know who can tell us all about that? Our very own Dr. Bob.
Oh, help me, please, doctor, I'm damaged.
It was either this or the Walmart story. Good morning, Dr. Bob.
Jake, no wonder I feel better after I eat chicken.
What is this deal about the bacteria that is causing bladder infections in women?
It's always interesting what you come up with to ask me, and I usually am never prepared for it. So a lot of people think this is scripted, but in no way, shape, manner, or form.
Oh, just like the sports is scripted, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I must admit that I missed that segment, and I'm not really up on exactly what you asked, but we do know for a long time that resistance in many bacteria appears to rise in cattle and chickens that are fed antibiotics over a long period of time. Things like vancomycin-resistant enterococci, or VRE. We discovered retrospectively that these actually were introduced into the human population likely from chicken that was fed to patients in hospitals that had these multi-drug resistant bacteria had been bred.
They make them like super bugs. That's
right. Makes them much more difficult to treat, and it's a big problem all over medicine. I mean, I'm seeing people with infections now that there are no options to treat. There's nothing. No antibiotics can take care of the infection. Or it's a complicated situation. But oftentimes when bacteria become more resistant, they become less enabled to cause serious infection. But if somebody's debilitated and they get an infection with one of those bacteria, they usually don't survive it.
Now, what's amazing is in the world of medicine today, with all the drugs we have, that something now relatively simple as a bladder infection can't be treated.
I see patient after patient in my office from urologists and primary care doctors who have these type of bacteria, and we have to go to intravenous antibiotics. And what happens is the woman's colonized with that bug in her colon, and because of the proximity of the exit strategy in the back and what occurs in the front in a woman, that the bugs are kind of there, and they can gain access to the urinary tract, and they keep getting reinfected, and we oftentimes have less and less we can do to take care. Can't ever get rid of it per se. We try to do strategies to try to prevent urinary tract infections, but there's no money in antibiotics these days, so there's virtually no antibiotic research going on. And what the drug companies want to do is have a medicine that somebody's going to take once a day or, every day for the rest of their life, like a Viagra, like a blood pressure pill, like a cholesterol lowering agent. Antibiotics people take for a few days, a few days a year, and that's it. And patent life is so short once the medicine comes to market that it doesn't justify the investment in research and development. The major drug companies, Merck, Lilly, many of them have just totally divested their antibiotic research departments, shut them down. Nothing, zip, zilch, nada.
Well, that doesn't seem fair.
There's only two antibiotics under development at this time that will possibly reach the American market, and they are both antibiotics that have been acquired by an American company from an overseas company, either Japanese or European. But we're headed for bad times. There's been a lot of conjecture. Are we headed for the post-antibiotic era? So
I was watching TV the other day, and a commercial for some drug came on for testosterone. You rub it on or something.
Yeah.
And usually when those things come on, I don't pay much attention. I just kind of zone out. But I was listening to this when the side effects came on.
Man.
And I don't know what that stuff does, but it's like it's telling women don't let it touch women. Wherever parts of the body goes on a man, don't let the woman touch that, because something bad will happen. But then for the man, the side effects was I can't remember everything. You could get bladder cancer, hard nipples, something in the legs with blood clots. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And I looked at my wife and I said, why would anybody want to take something like this? Because I don't know what it does or what it benefits, but there's so many damn side effects. Why would you take the risk?
If you looked at the side effects for aspirin,
don't tell me about bad side effects for aspirin, Dr. Bob. That's the one medicine I still have faith in, open and trust.
Now, when I was in fellowship, there was this medicine that we were doing, participating in trials with. That it was an HIV medicine. It helped suppress the replication of HIV virus, and all the patients that took it, their libido skyrocketed. I mean, it wasn't just that the patients were feeling better. I mean, it was they became, sex addicts. I mean, not that they weren't sex addicts before, but they just couldn't get enough sex. And I wrote to the company and I said, this medicine has an unintended side effect that might be useful in some situations, and because that's how. What's the name of the medicine? Rogaine. That's how Rogaine is an antihypertensive for blood pressure, and it has a side effect of growing hair. And Prilosec was actually a very weak antibiotic that was put on the shelf, but it had the side effect that shut down the acid secretion in the stomach. And, many medicines that we use these days, we use them because of the unintended side effect, which becomes the reason why they are sold and stuff. But this medicine, I opined to the drug company, might be useful for men or women that had lost their sex drive. And my letter went, unread or unappreciated, and the medicine still sits on a shelf somewhere. But
so women have you to thank for their husbands and boyfriends taking Viagra type stuff.
Well, to be honest with you, Jake, I was thinking, a lot of men complain that their wives lose their desire, and I thought, this could be sold to the men. They could drip it. They could put a little tablet in their wife's.
I think that's against the law, Dr. Bob. That I don't think you can do that.
Oh, really? You can't treat somebody else?
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Well, that testosterone stuff, women with higher testosterone levels actually have much higher sex drives too. So, but they can't. These legal disclaimers are meant to totally protect and immunize the vendor or the seller of the medicine.
I may start paying attention to all these drug commercials now because I found that fascinating.
Well, that's where all the money is in pharmaceutical sales now. It's direct marketing to patients. They're cutting out all the salesmen that used to come and give us the details on the medicine and give us brochures and tell us all the intimate side effects of medicines. But they're all that money is being spent on, well, not all of it, but the grand majority is being spent on direct to consumer advertising.
They're spending a lot. With that, I have to say goodbye, Dr. Bob.
Well, goodbye, everybody, and Jake. I hope that for your sake that you don't hang up on more people, because that's displaying excessive moodiness, and we all know what can happen if you're too moody. I mean, you can end up in a hospital in Arizona.
You know what? I have not had the disappointments in life that Jesse Jackson Jr. has had. I've never wanted to be senator, so I don't have that disappointment. I never wanted to run for mayor, so I don't have that.
And your goal was to be a C average student, so you hit that. So. Yeah,
I did want to be a midday talk show host. I never made that, but that's no big disappointment.
From time to time, you do that.
All right, take care, Dr. Bob.
Take care. Bye-bye.
There he goes, Dr. Bob. 2Bs, 1-0. I did get to meet Ringo. That's right, my one-on-one with Ringo. And more of your calls when we return right here on 89 WLS.
Right there in that jar.